pivotal role in patient care and recovery. Providing a well-balanced and nutritionally sound meal is essential for promoting health, supporting healing, and managing various medical conditions. Nurses often find themselves responsible for meal planning and preparations, especially in healthcare settings like hospitals and long-term care facilities. Ensuring that these meals are not only delicious but also meet the specific dietary needs of patients is of paramount importance. This requires knowledge of various techniques and considerations for meal preparation tailored for each individual unique nutritional requirements. Peeling raw tomatoes and potatoes. Briefly blanch in boiling water or 10 to 30 seconds, then transfer to cold water to stop cooking. The peel should easily come off. Peeling firm fruits and vegetables. Use a floating blade peeler to peel fruits and vegetables like carrots, turnips, apples, and pears. Start from the top to bottom, turning as you go and trim any stems or roots with a paring knife. Next is to cut in julienne strips or matchsticks. Slice meat or vegetables into 1/8 slices or stack in 3 to 4 slices together and cut into 1/8 wide strips. Next is slicing firm fruits and vegetables. Peel if necessary, then slice straight up and down, letting the vegetable control the thickness or each slice. Dicing celery, carrots, and green pepper. Cut into long strips across to create neat cubes or slice closer for finer dicing or mincing. And lastly, chopping, dicing, and mincing onion. Halve peeled onions lengthwise mix from tip to root without cutting through the root. Then, slice from side to side across for finely minced or chopped onions. So, these are the techniques help to achieve consistent and well-prepared ingredients for your cooking. So next is we're going to teach you how to purchase.
Purchasing. Purchasing is an important activity because the quality and cost materials at the time of purchase largely determine the quality and cost of the finished product. Effective purchasing aims to provide an adequate supply of food, the right quality and the right quantity, and at the right price. To make this possible, it is important for the food to be purchased at the right time from the right source. Here are the tips in purchasing. 1. Prefer whole grain cereals, bread, rice, and pasta over refined options for rich B vitamins and minerals. Whole grains are the best. Brown rice and parboiled white rice are more vitamin-packed than white rice. 2. Ensure that skim milk, non-fat dry milk, and margarine are fortified with vitamins A and D, as these are lost when fat is removed. 3. Opt for fresh or frozen fruits and vegetables instead of canned versions, as canning can diminish water-soluble vitamins like B vitamins and C. 4. Choose fresh produce and when possible, select fruits and vegetables that have ripened on the vine. 5. Pick bright orange carrots, sweet potatoes, and dark leaf lettuce for higher vitamin A content. And that's all. Steps in purchasing. 1. Determine what items or products should be purchased, specifying the quality and quantity. 2. Know the market situation about the products, such as the supply, demand, market availability, and other related information. 3. Contact potential suppliers or visit possible sources to know what products are being offered and at what price. 4. Compare the products available from different sources with your product specifications. 5. Evaluate what the supplier has to offer against your needs, as in the quality available, prices, terms, conditions of delivery, methods of payment, and the like. 6. Decide on the supplier or vendor. Tips for a purchaser or marketer. 1. Know what to buy and where to buy quality foods. If you're looking for fresh seafood, research local fish markets known for their quality. For example, when buying salmon for a special dinner, ask for recommendations from friends who are seafood enthusiasts. 2. Determine beforehand how much you can afford to spend. Before heading to the grocery store, set a budget for your weekly shopping. Stick to it to ensure you're not overspending. For instance, if your budget for groceries is $100 this week, plan your purchases accordingly. 3. Make a flexible marketing list. Create a shopping list but be open to substitutions if a particular item isn't available or is too expensive. If you plan to buy strawberries but find that blueberries are on sale, adapt your list to include the better priced option. 4. Use polite expressions when buying and asking for goods. When at a farmer's market, you can say, "May I please have a dozen of your freshest eggs?" Being polite and respectful goes a long way in building positive relationships with sellers. Lastly, 5. Avoid unnecessary remarks if you do not approve of the price. If you find an item is more expensive than expected, it's better to negotiate politely. For instance, if you think a handmade craft at a market is pricey, you can say, "Is there any room for negotiation on the price?" This opens a dialogue without being confrontational.
Hey everyone, it's Lorian Ray and welcome to our guide on how to buy the freshest and tastiest fruits and veggies and many more. Whether you're at the grocery store, farmer's market, or even picking your groceries yourself, these tips will help you make the best choices. So first, I'm gonna give you some tips on how to buy your fruits. Tip number 1. Always inspect the fruit's appearance. Look for vibrant colors, firmness, and smooth skin. Avoid fruits with bruises, blemishes, or mold. Tip number 2. Check for ripeness. Each fruit has its own signs. For example, for bananas, a few brown specks indicate they are ripe. For avocados, gently squeeze to feel for softness. Tip number 3. Use your sense of smell. Fruits should have a pleasant, fruity aroma. If it smells soft or too strong, it might be overripe. Keep in mind that fruits that are just ripe are richer in nutrients, while overripe fruits have less food value. Here are some examples of fruits in their peak seasons. As you can see here, every month is bananas' peak month season. Next is your vegetables. Tip number 1. Same as your fruits, always inspect the appearance of the vegetables. Look for vibrant colors, firm texture, and smooth skin. Avoid vegetables with bruises, blemishes, or signs of wilting. Tip number 2. Choose vegetables that are in season. Seasonal vegetables are not only fresher, but also more affordable. Tip number 3. Check for firmness. Vegetables like cucumbers, peppers, and carrots should feel crisp when you gently squeeze them. Next is how to buy your eggs. Tip number 1. Examine the egg. Look for any cracks or broken shells. Tip number 2. To see if your egg is still fresh, place your egg in a basin filled with water, and if it sinks, that means it's fresh. Tip number 3. Consider brown versus white eggs. Keep in mind that the color of the eggshell doesn't affect taste or quality. It's determined by the breed of the hen. Next is tips on how to buy your meat. So tip number 1. Start by checking the appearance of the meat. It should have a fresh, vibrant color and be free of any unusual odors. Avoid meat with discoloration or excessive moisture. Tip number 2. Consider the type of meat and cut you need for your recipe. Different cuts have varying levels of tenderness and flavor, so choose accordingly. So next is tips on how to buy your chicken. Tip number 1. Start by checking the appearance of the chicken. It should have a fresh, pinkish color with no gray or green tinges. Avoid chicken with visible bruising or off-putting odors. Tip number 2. Choose the right cut. Consider the type of chicken cut you need for your recipe. Options range from whole chickens to specific parts like breast, thighs, or wings. Lastly, tips on how to buy your fish. Tip number 1. Choose the right market. When buying fish, start by choosing a reputable market. Look for one with a good reputation for freshness and quality. Tip number 2. Check the appearance. Start by checking the appearance of a fish. It should have clear, shiny, and moist flesh with no discoloration, dry patches, or off-putting odors. The eyes should be clear and not cloudy. Tip number 3. Use your sense of smell. Fresh fish should have a clean and slightly briny odor reminiscent of the sea. Avoid fish that smells overly fishy or ammonia-like. Tip number 4. Check the intactness of the belly bowls. Tip number 5. Check the eyes. The eyes should be full and bright. And with these tips, you'll be a master at picking freshest, tastiest, and healthiest ingredients for your food.
In measuring dry ingredients, pour spoon-shifted or unshifted dry ingredients to the dry measuring cup until it overflows, catching excess on kitchen rag. Level off the contents of the cup with the straight edge of the knife or a metal spatula. Never tap the cup on the counter to level. Do not press or pack down the ingredients unless the recipe specifies down as with brown sugar. In measuring powdered ingredients, dip the measuring spoon or cup into the baking powder, salt, or other spices. Then stir up to break up the lumps, and also fill the food with overflowing and level it off using the edge of a knife or a metal spatula. Then scrape out with a rubber spatula.
So good evening, everyone. I am Jam Moico from group of Kent, and in DIY for food preparation, you can use this cup that you use sa rice, and then spoon, a small spoon for teaspoon, and for measuring powder or baking powder. Okay, I am Jam Moico, and that is how you prepare and ready for ABC's preparation for food preparation. Thank you.